New NERF Rival. 3 simple words that usually makes people pretty excited, even the most apathetic of NERF fans. Throughout everything, Rival is the one thing that seems to be consistent, at least in its terms of quality, from Hasbro. And the new NERF Rival ACCU Rounds, or Accustrike, or whatever they call them, that whole new line, with the Fate, the Vision, and the Pathfinder, look to be incredibly exciting. And this is the blaster from that line that I've been the most excited about. We've talked about the Fate previously. We're gonna talk about the Pathfinder in the future, so get subscribed so you don't miss that. But today, we're gonna be taking a look at what I think is gonna be the best and coolest in the line anyway. The NERF Rival Vision 800. Eight times ACCU rounds, the most accurate NERF Rival rounds, and we will, of course, test that both in their flight pattern and test them empirically against my Gunpower SMT interactive target. Integrated magazine. Yes, this blaster features an internal magazine, which is something that I personally like. I'm never usually a big fan of the detachable magazines. I'm more up to integrated magazines because that's how I like to play. And this one features an 8-round capacity, which is pretty good for something this size. Not that it's small, it's pretty big, but it's still pistol-esque size. And still a spring-powered blaster. You don't need any batteries or anything like that. And on the back, it advertises 8-round internal magazine, up to 90 FPS velocity, drawback priming handle, 8 times high impact ACCU rounds included, and the rounds are compatible with all Rival blasters, all of them. And they show a testing target on the back from their testing, showing that the yellow is what they did with original NERF Rival rounds, and the blue is the new one, which I can mimic that exact test with my Gunpower SMT. I absolutely love the look of these blasters. I think this is probably Hasbro's best design aesthetic since probably Dart Tag from like the late version of Dart Tag from like 2010, 2011. This looks phenomenal. There we go. You can't actually get the full effect of it in that package. In fact, this is one of those things where it's like they might as well just have had it in a box, because the top part of the box is hiding the top of the blaster, which is, wow, that looks awesome. I love the Fallout style color scheme with the bright yellow and the blue contrasting. I love the way they've done the sights. Who knows if they're actually that good or not? We'll find out, but it is cool they even have them, and they are adjustable. This one literally only adjusts this little piece forward and back. The entire piece seems to move. Oh, no. The back end of the piece also pivots. That's super interesting. And the front, like, bright green blade is just your front post, and they're outlined by these crowns right here, which, that looks really freaking good. And instead of a T-pole, we have your typical Nightfinder style prime, although it's huge. You can almost fit 3 fingers in there with my tiny hands. I think it also has like a ratcheting mechanism. I pulled it back just a little bit. That's really good. It's not the most comfortable thing ever because it's hollow on the bottom, but that's pretty good. And the grip it's pretty darn good. It's less good than the Fate, in my opinion. It's got a texture on it to help you grip it better, but it doesn't feel nearly as nice as the Fate. And it does have an ambidextrous safety right there. Always good to see. And the internal magazine. Pull that down until it latches, much like the side swipe, which is a very good internal magazine until those plastic wears down, which could be a problem. Hasn't been a problem yet, but it could be a problem in the future. And we've got our 8 times NERF Rival Accustrike rounds. Now, these are noticeably different than the original NERF Rival rounds. They are cross-compatible, as they say, but the dimples on these are much larger, and the density of the foam is a little bit better on the new NERF Rival rounds. It also feels like they have some kind of rubbery coating on the outside of them that makes them far less porous. So overall, very nice change from the original, but of course we have to see if they actually perform better. And to load our magazine, we just, literally just drop them in. Is that how the pullback prime works? Do you have to push it back forward? It did load one. I guess that's not awful. If I pull that down, does it still load? Yeah, so you don't have to catch that back up. But yeah, that's I I can foresee this being sharp if you grab it wrong, especially if you're doing it a lot in the middle of a battle. That's not great, Hasbro. You could have added a little bit more plastic and roundiness to it. It certainly looks good, but that's a disappointment. The draw length is very minimal, but it works. I'm a little worried about this one. It doesn't feel like it's hitting all that hard, but you can definitely tell when we take it over to the chronograph and take it outside to show its range and the actual flight pattern of the balls, and then of course put it up against the Gunpower SMT to see how accurate it actually is. But I'm waning a little bit on my enthusiasm for the Vision, and especially for a $21 blaster, which is almost twice the price of the Fate, I'm a little hesitant. All right, the Vision over the Chronograph. Let's see what this blaster does. 73.5, hopefully that was just an error. No, it wasn't. 83.1, 79.1, 80.3, 70.3, 80.3, 84.4. I'm kind of hinted that this thing felt a little weak compared to the Fate, and I guess I wasn't wrong. I'm assuming there's probably something wrong with this, so this is one of those situations where I only have the one blaster. You may want to watch another review's chrono testing just to make sure that they're not all like this. Alrighty, NERF Rival Vision loaded with the brand new NERF ACCU rounds. I want to see how well these fly out of the Vision. Little bit of a curve to the left, but honestly not that bad. Again, slight curve to the left. That one was perfectly straight. A little bit of curve to the right. Gonna give it a bit more of an angle. That one was perfectly straight. Little bit maybe of a curve to the right. Little bit of a curve to the right. And last shot. Maybe a slight curve to the left, but overall pretty good. However, how does it work with original NERF Rival rounds? 6 brand new original yellow NERF Rival rounds. These came out of a brand new side swipe from last year. Let's see if there's any drastic differences in performance. A little bit of a curve to the right. A little bit of a curve to the right. Pretty straight little curve to the left. Pretty substantial curve to the right. I've seen worse. Give it an angled shot. And maybe a slight curve to the left. Not that bad at all. Last shot. Perfectly down centered. And amazingly so, I didn't really see a big difference between the two. There was some more on the yellow side that may have won a little array, but that wasn't that massive of a difference. All right, we're gonna see how the Vision does against the Gunpower SMT target to give a approximation of the test that Hasbro did, that they showed on the back of the box, that they allegedly did anyway. We don't have any proof of that unless they reveal the footage, I don't think, but there is something to note that I'm only about 15 feet from the target, and their back of the box said they were 30 feet from the target, but we'll be giving 8 shots or 10 shots or something out of the Vision using the new blue ACCU rounds, and then we're gonna swap over and use original NERF Rival to see if we can tell a difference between the two. This is mostly just to be consistent with all of my other videos where I do shoot against the target to give you a fair comparison. However, I can already feel we're gonna be doing another video in the future where we put the target 30 feet back and try to hit it. And of course, this is completely subjective because there's human error involved. I'll do my very best though, and at least this thing has sights, so I can very easily, you know, point them at the target and have an approximation. I'm gonna be aiming at the head of the target. There's a cursor on the screen I can't seem to get rid of no matter what I do. And, well, here we go. It's not so much about where I'm aiming so much as I aim in the same place and we see what the group is like. So starting with, I can already tell you this is a worse sight than the Fate. Let's see. Bit low. Somewhat consistent though. Let a couple more in there just to make it consistent with the Fate. There's a pretty reasonably tight grouping there with a couple of outliers, so that's not bad. And again, for a stock Nerf product, that's pretty freaking outstanding, in my opinion. But let's swap it over to the original Nerf Rival rounds, which these are the same ones I was firing earlier, although they're practically box fresh, and see if there's any discerning difference. All right, same exact setup, aiming at the same place on the target. Two more. Well, besides that last one, I mean, you could see it in post. They, I can't tell the difference between the two. Huh. But it should be noted, this does advertise having an optimized barrel, so that probably has a lot to do with it. The Rival Fate 800 has a lot going for it. It has, in my opinion, the best design of any of the blasters in this new Rival line, and it's up there with probably my favorite Nerf design I've ever seen. This is the aesthetic that I go for, and I absolutely love it. Yes, it's substantially big, but it's still small enough that it doesn't feel like anything more than what it's supposed to be, and that is a very cool, very handy pistol style with an 8-round internal magazine. And the internal magazine works really freaking good. It's just like the one on the Sideswipe, which I cannot gush enough about. I think that's an amazing internal magazine option for blasters, and this carries that torch rather well. I'm obviously a bit worried how this thing works after a few thousand magazine hitches, but worst comes to shove, you just have to hold the follower down while you're running rounds into it, and I don't think that's a big deal at all either, so if it does happen to wear down, enjoy it while it lasts. There are some problems with this design though. First and foremost, the one that I noticed, I have like a whole chunk of my sight missing, and I looked, I think that's always been there pretty much out of the box. I think it's just a mold flaw, which obviously that doesn't detract from the blaster at all, and you can barely notice it. But there's a substantial amount of my, you know, front clear sight that is missing, which is kind of annoying, but whatever. The Prime is okay. This is, I think the Fate worked perfectly fine. I think this one is objectionably worse. It is a ring pull, which is super cool, and that has its own unique abilities for the fact that it's like a hook instead of a T-prime, so you can prime it on other blasters a lot easier, and you have just a lot more control on it than a T-pull, I feel, but it's poorly designed. It angles upwards, and it's hollow, and there's like 2 stages of lipping going on. It's just not comfortable. You can very quickly wear your fingers down using this thing. I don't think you're gonna like tear skin off or anything like that, but it's not comfortable. And that is a fundamental design flaw in my opinion. Some other people may disagree, and that's just a shame on an otherwise pretty cool blaster. The grip is comfortable enough. I think it's a step down from the Fate, but I still think it's good. The performance is the thing that has me really scratching my head. I can't definitively say at this time if that's just the performance you should expect out of this blaster, because it does advertise 90 FPS. I mostly got like 70s and 80s out of it, and my Fate advertised 90 FPS and I got consistently over 100 with it. So I don't know if the Fate stole 10 FPS from this thing, it just made itself better, but this was not up to par with what I was getting, especially in the range testing. This was underperforming quite noticeably compared to the Fate. The sights are objectionably kind of bad compared to the Fate. I do like the fact that it's adjustable left and right for whatever reason you do that. I mean, there's a little bit more play value there, I guess, and maybe that's what the sights are. I'm just glad Nerf is trying to take their optics somewhat seriously with this release, and that bodes well for their, I guess, arrogance when it comes to their accuracy. And honestly, the accuracy from what I tested was good. Like, objectively, it was good. The thing that got me was, are the rounds really that much different? I mean, we can't compare like how well they do in like wind, how well they handle wind, atmosphere, stuff like that. They do feel a lot better, and I think that's the most important thing. They didn't even really seem to travel further or anything like that. They seemed pretty much the same. So I guess it's just bonus all the way around. Or maybe the blaster is just so well designed that it can shoot both of them practically equally. But that does bring up concerns about the ammunition. That is, yeah, I mean, is the ammunition really all that much better? And I'm already smelling we're gonna have to do another video in the future firing those rounds out of older blasters in the Rival line to see how much of a difference there is. I can think of a couple NERF Rival blasters that always performed pretty poorly that may benefit from the new NERF Rival line. But the Vision weighing in at $21. Yeah, I wanted this one to be the best one, and I think there's still gonna be plenty of people that like it. And quite honestly, if you like what you see here and you want to roll the gamble on that performance or just upgrade it down the path, because you can take these blasters apart. I have verified that you can. I don't know how well they are internally, but you can take them apart at least. Yeah, it's a safe bet for a blaster, and I can see a lot of people being big fans of this blaster just from the design, because let's face it, it looks freaking cool. The $21 price tag is probably acceptable at this point. I feel it's a little high, but we're talking about maybe $3 to $5 too high. It's not that bad in my opinion. So somewhat let down considering this is the one I was the most hyped for, but let me know what you think down in the comment section below, because that's all I've got for you. I'm Walcom S7. Thank you very much for watching this video. Chances are if you got to the end, you like what you hear, so please hit like, hit subscribe, ring the bell, leave a comment, do all that algorithmic garbage so you can help the channel grow, so you can help the hobby grow. And of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different video, which is probably going to be a review on the Pathfinder. It's most definitely going to be a review on the Pathfinder. I'm almost certain of it. You gotta